Hey guys, don't mind the wind noise. We're off in an adventure looking at British cars, and I believe we are going to be taking one of them home. We're going to open the door, take a peek, and do a little walk around, and hopefully it comes home with us. So without further ado, let's go. Open, see what we got. Go see what we got. I'm gonna walk up on it and do a quick walk around.
You got any air in that tank?
Yeah, we got an air tank. All right. Actually, probably what we should do is close the door. And a friend of mine is gonna go give us a education on what we're looking at. So let's go do that, take care of it. And then we'll drag it out, hopefully.
You look in this back area, there's a little pouch behind the seats where the side curtains go. And it's like a Rubik's Cube to get them to go in there. But that's one, you can pull that out. Four side curtains, two that go on the front. He's got one. This one, and then the rear side curtains, little tiny ones in the back. So those are all here. So on the back side of this big bench seat is the actual crank that goes to turn the engine over. It's got mounting brackets that are in there. You'd have to kind of like go around. It's right there.
Is it there? Okay.
Yeah. So that's the whole crank that you put through the front of the car, engages the pulley in the front. This steering wheel has pretty much disintegrated to the point. I mean, it's relatively firm, but it's...
Yeah, is he cracking down the...
Yeah. Let's look at the...
14,000?
Can't read it with my glasses.
I thought I said 14,000.
Yeah, I think it says something different. 18,299 on the odometer. Everything else looks correct. Headlights, hello, horn button. So for the yeah, it looks very original like that. Fortunately, he did not park it with the e-brake on, or else it would be probably impossible to move. Yeah, it smells like varnish. The good news is,
Oh yeah.
there's very little fuel in it, so I think when it was parked, kept the tank relatively low. But if you look down in there, you can see the remainder of what's left.
Yeah, that fuel line rotted off of it and it leaked it all out.
Could have. Yeah, I would give a kind of an overall assessment of it as a car that had a relatively complete restoration, as you guessed, probably in the early to mid 70s. and then was driven and then put in here. And
Well, yeah, maybe they had a run issue with it. The plug wires are off. Like they tried doing something with it to get it to,
yep.
like that was its last thing they were trying. They put new plugs in it and they were trying to get it to go or something. And
Yeah, quite possibly. These things were notorious for having fuel delivery issues. It has a single, I'll show you on the other side. It's got a single SU pump that's mounted up on the firewall. And it just has a copper or brass line going from this fuel pump all the way back to the tank. And so left a lot of work for these things to pull the fuel all the way from the back and then run them over to the twin SU carburetors. But this is with the exception of the aftermarket valve cover and side plate, it's very stock. That's a stock exhaust manifold. This is obviously not stock, but it's just a cover over the original starter. But everything else looks very, very original. And as I pointed out before, these radiator shrouds are incredibly delicate and very expensive to fix. So this one's in really good shape. That's a nice thing to not have to worry about. I guess the real question is whether the tires are going to hold air enough to
They will.
to at least get onto a trailer.
I think that won't be an issue.
No?
My trailer's flat, so
Just drag it on?
yeah. Worst case scenario, we'll just try and drag it forward. The other one's already got air in the tires. That one's already.
But
aired
they
up.
do hold air. I can drag the air compressor hose over here.
Okay.
If you guys are taking it today.
So this is going to be challenging to get going. You can absolutely count on the fuel system needing to be completely fleshed out. The carburetors.
It's been sitting for 45 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
The brake system as well. I think the good news is I don't see any evidence, like we talked about, of the core plugs being popped out.
Block cracked or something.
Yeah.
It's still turned.
Right.
So yeah.
So I think it's salvageable in that regard. These things are kind of fun because the windshields can be folded forward. So it's a convertible on a day when when it's warm enough, you can put the windshield down, put your goggles on, and have kind of an
Put your beanie on and go cruise around Cambridge.
Right, exactly. Have an open car experience.
I think this car has an open car experience no matter what configuration you have the top.
Yes. Yes. These are aftermarket. They're called wind wings, and they deflect the wind around the opening here, and they were quite popular and very effective. So when you're driving even with the top down and the windshield up, these wind wings keep the wind from going right into your face. So
I had a Volkswagen kit car, one of these, and I had those on. It actually did pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely work.
It's got a neat look to it. I wish it was original paint, but
Yeah, and it's hard to know. It's got 18,000 miles on the odometer. The instruments look pretty clean. It may have been restored and had the odometer reset to 0 if they'd restored the instruments. I've seen that happen. So I don't know if that's 18,000 original miles or whether that's miles put on it after the restoration was completed.
What would be original color on all this?
This is an original color. This red.
Or is just repainted with the...
Yeah, they would probably back to the original color. And this is a very common red with a red interior. And in the 50s, when these MGs were made, if the interior was a different color. It's a very nice original toolkit. A lot of times, like that's a tire iron. You'll get, they say Dunlop on them, so you know that they're original ones. But a lot of these things, I don't think that's original. Is that from American?
It goes to show when you work on this car that it causes you to
Yep.
drink.
I wish it was that simple to work on cars today with just what you got in there.
What is this? The crank started? Oh, it's all the sockets, all the different.
Yeah, the different sockets. Yeah. So huge amounts of slop here, and when you shut the door, they never ever get to be that close. They have a primary and a secondary latch. So there's a little pin right here, and it goes. If you look at this latch mechanism here, that pin catches here, and then it goes into a hole right there. So there's a primary and a secondary latch.
So it's a guide and then it clicks in? Yeah.
Yeah, so, and to find one where this pin actually goes past the first latch, that's the first one, and then goes into the second one, into the hole, and you have this beautiful tight gap here. Very, very difficult to achieve on a T-Series. This is good.
But that's on the passenger side. Let's go look at the driver's side.
Yes, exactly. So, and the hinges are prone to be worn out. They're brass hinges. They do get worn out over time. This one, if you lift up and down, there's a little bit of slop there.
Yeah.
But that's actually on a scale of good to bad for a TC or TD or TF. That's actually not too bad. So this one, that's the secondary catch, and that's the primary. So again, this is a really good fitting door for a T-Series.
Were those bumpers added? I didn't think I saw them on the other side, those bumpers. Somebody add that?
No, that's stock.
Okay.
It came that way.
Just to keep that rattle down.
Yeah, they typically did not have this little trim piece along here. That's an added on thing, I think. But those rubber bits were stock. So, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a challenge. It's a lot of years to have a car sitting in a barn.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah.
It's not the first one.
Yep.
But unfortunately, looks like the floor of the barn is fairly dry and the roof is pretty good. I don't know what it's like in the springtime in here, but.
Yeah, not a bad starting point for a resurrection. I'd be interested to see how well this paint
Comes
responds
back,
to,
yeah.
to,
Looks a little on the rough side when it was painted. Best way to say it.
yeah, it's not the best paint job.
No.
But it may actually be a lacquer paint job. You have to remember, back in the day,
Right.
they were shooting straight enamel and lacquer on cars. So it's hard to know. It's not like they didn't have synthetic spec in the 70s.
What was factory? Do you know?
Gosh, they used a couple of different paints. I think one was a cellulose-based paint, and I can't remember what the other one was right off the top of my head. And sometimes they would actually have one type of paint in one area and a different type of paint in another area. And I don't know if that had to do with
What was going on?
what was, yeah, or the amount of flexing that might be occurring in that area of the car.
Well, I say we're here, and you know, might as well make it worthwhile, at least in
Right.
this one so far.
Yeah. So, and did you want me to talk again about the identifying the numbers on this?
Sure, go for it.
All right. So on a T-Series, they have a data plate up here and here. This talks about the body numbers, but up here on this data plate, it will tell you the car number and also the engine number. And the car numbers all started with TD because that's the model. And so this one is TD 22002. And this will also occur on the front horn which is located right behind this bumper area. And you'll see the rumors. So that's the TD2200, and it's kind of hard to see the rest, but that just verifies that that's the correct original chassis for the data plate. And then the engine number, which is 22423, that's shown on an octagonal plate, which is riveted onto the block on the passenger side. And that's right here. You can see that 22423 at the very top for the engine number.
Okay.
Oops, sorry, take money.
Yeah, you get how much it blinds it. Yeah.
So that means that this car has the original engine, and the chassis matches the markings for the data plate.
Look, I'd say it probably has 18,000 miles on it. I don't think it has. How many miles would you drive this car anyway? Realistically?
Yeah. Well, back in the 1960s and 70s, when our parents were interested in these cars, they were taking these two things to events, and there was a very, very active group of people restoring these cars. But you're right, they weren't putting tens of thousands of miles on cars like we do now.
And we're on an island.
That's true.
So.
Yeah. So that could be 18,000.
I like it. Yeah, cool look to it. I always wanted to work on one of these British vehicles, so
Now,
here's our
what
opportunity.
you wish for.
Yeah, I know. Here's our opportunity.
Yep. So
He was never the same ever since. He just lost his mind.
So that crank does go through, this is an alignment, this hole in the bumper is part of the alignment. It goes through here, goes through there, and then the little tangs on the end of it engage the crank.
And they were 12 volt from the factory?
Pardon me?
This was 12 volt from the factory? Or
Yes.
somebody converted it? Okay.
Yes. No, it's 12 volts. Both the TD and then later in the 60s, the MGA, they were 12 volts. In the MGA,
We'll do that.
actually had,
We'll do that on a
Okay.
different.
yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see over under on these holding air.
I think we had air in them before. They was cold.
Oh, it's got tubes in it. That's why. That's why they're holding air. The tire doesn't look like it's all that. Something's happening. It'd be better to have a tire truck that locks on. Very good.
I think they,
I'd say we don't push our luck, huh? We've got 3 more to do. Go on that side of it, just oh, well, yeah. Downhill? Yeah. There's where it might go. You ready? Yep. You can go to your side more.
Yeah, sir.
Other way, other way, other way.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Dude, you want to pop it in gear? All right.
That went too easy.
Josh, we're not home yet. That's a sight to see. Haven't seen daylight in 45 years. I gotta grab some of the stuff out of the doorway yet. Oh, right. I get it from the inside. Alright guys, what's in the future? We grabbed this in that snowstorm probably mid-January and it is mid-May, so we're about 5 months in the future. Haven't done anything to it other than on the way home. When we got back, it had so much salt on it that I went through the like the coin car wash where you have the wand, and I rinsed off whatever I could because it was just pitch white from salt. Same with my trailer and same with my truck. Cleaned that off. Anyway, it's been parked. I had to go air up the tires again, and really nothing's been done to it. I haven't looked at it because I was trying to save it for video. I did grab a couple of things. A friend of mine hooked me up with a steering wheel. That's better. The one that was there helping me look at it. We got an ignition switch for it because it's missing the keys, and I got some sockets and wrenches that fit the hardware that's on this because it's different than what I'm normally used to, which is metric and SAE. I think this is called Whitworth. Anyway, let's get it up on the lift, go see what we have underneath, a little bit better view. I dragged it in with the same setup that we dragged it out with on the back of the forklift. And I got to get it up on there. Brakes are dragging on it. It's just enough where I think you could barely push it. And maybe we'll have to get a winch out or something to get the rest of the way on there. Without further ado, let's get into it and see what we got. The usual. First time using this setup, see if it works. I made it for just such an occasion. Definitely have to get it further that way. Well, I'm hoping it's awesome. And it doesn't suck. Don't look underneath like the Galaxy that we looked at. It's going from the front. I do know we were crawling around the floor. You can see, like, again, it's got wooden frame rails. That critters were kind of chomping on it. Looks pretty good so far. Like some newer stuff that's in it. Newer, like 1979, newer. The bump stops. Somebody went and painted the engine. There's a mouse nest right there. It's like the wiring is melting or something. What's going on with that? I shouldn't say frame rails. Body section rails, look at all the chomping. That was done on that. Seems pretty solid though. It's not like it's been rotten, you know. Again, sitting in that wet garage, I was kind of expecting maybe a little bit worse. Frame, I don't know if that's a rot hole right there, or that's supposed to be there. There's a couple more holes there. They look like they're too perfectly round to be an issue. Master cylinder, single circuit. I think the transmission's been pissing its fluid out for 30 or 40 years. Exhaust looks complete. So we put new brake lines on it at some point. I think the shocks may have been rebuilt, painted. I think we were talking about it. It looks like somebody like restored it in the early 70s, possibly. Ran it for a few years and it got parked. Because a lot of the stuff, like, yeah, you would expect to be gone, like those rubber bump stops and everything. Those flex lines usually would have cracks right there. I'm not seeing that. And it looks like somebody put new brake lines on it at some point because they're, you know, yeah, again, a big pile of rust. And they still have the resemblance of metal. It's like the wiring harness has a couple of chew marks on it. Tires are definitely showing their age. I think some have tubes in them, some don't. I went to go fill that one up again, and the valve stem was kind of doing the peekaboo thing, like it was cold out. Had to go grab it with a pair of pliers and yank it out and get some air in it. But we're gonna need new tires anyway. So the drain for the fuel tank. The frame actually looks pretty decent. There's like something going on right there. Is that a solid box? It is. The rear looks like she's been dripping a couple decades too. That means it was fluid in it. That's the fuel line going down. That's the copper. Like they made an exhaust system adapter to an adapter. So it went from one to another, to another, to another. To about a 1-inch diameter tailpipe on it. It's got little hoops to hold the rear end. Is that like limiting straps right there? It actually doesn't look too bad. It looks better than I expected. I guess that's a safe thing to say. Again, it has a lot of wood in it, and I see the wood, like the floors and everything, don't look terrible. Might get you dizzy. Sorry. Spinner. About the same amount of chomping on this side. Looks like we got some kind of like crack or something there. A little chunk sticking out up here too. I'm not sure how far up that goes. It doesn't look terrible. At least it's not, again, it's not all like punky rotten. I suspect those fenders are metal, not fiberglass. Could be though. I don't know if that's welding up there on that, where that headlight bucket is. See that seam going around? Neat. Good. I know I had raccoons on the inside. There's raccoon poop on the interior. And a little nest there. But it doesn't look like it rotted anything out. Alright. Happy so far. Let's, I don't know if we looked at the coolant part of things. Like what it had sitting in the radiator. That could be a big issue. Yeah, like that's a new bolt. 45 years ago and then never used. All the hardware kind of looks that way, huh? The bumper stuff. I was going to let it back down again. and let's go pop the engine compartment open and get a better look in there. What if we could take this hood maybe completely out of our way? I have a feeling we're going to be in here a tad. Let's go take a gander how it's mounted. I would think it probably just, if we can get rid of one of these clamps maybe, we could take it right off. I don't know which one's easier. Train's coming. Yeah, let's maybe this one, the hardware looks a little cleaner. Let's go see if they'll turn for us, see if we can get this up and out of our way. Give you a bird's eye view. Get some of the weight off of it maybe. I think we have to work both sides though, right? Because we can't see it unless we flip the other hood. Yeah. Go grab that other side. So you can do this without wrecking it. Get out of there. That front gonna come. There we go. Oh, she's got some weight to it. That's better. I think I'll find some nice place to put this down without beating it up. As I'm beating it up. Alright. Think about an easy car to gain access to, huh? So I think Clark was saying we got an aftermarket valve cover, air cleaner, and something else. Oh, the intake, maybe? You were saying it's not factory? Look at that damage from that battery, huh? Over the years of that pissing out all over the place. Let's probably should clean that up, you think? I'll figure out our polarity on the battery. We'll get that out of there. Maybe we'll get some of the battery acid out of our way so that when we're opening stuff up that's not gonna get into anything. I like to take the valve cover off, you know, and see what the internals look like. Let's go do that. Let's go get all this out of here. And I don't think we're missing anything, right? Yeah, definitely been a day or two since that's held a charge. I think that's like a weird battery terminal. I've never seen that before. So it's positive ground with a weird, it's got like a Phillips screw in the middle of it. Let's try to get them out, see how they come out of there. I'm not sure if it is blatantly obvious, but I've never worked on a British car before. I did a long time ago, a Norton motorcycle. 850 Commando. That was probably like early 90s with a friend. That's the closest I got. I'm having a feeling that these are not going to want to play very well. Let's see if we can get a little pair of vice grips on it sideways and give it a turn. So I'm giving her a twist and we're not getting any kind of, yeah. Who would have thought a battery terminal would get corroded? Try the other one. That one turns. Hopefully we can kind of see how it's made, you know. Probably just cut the head of that one off if it's just going right into the battery. think we got to do some. Let's go get some big ass pliers. I'm gonna break the top of the battery off. There's that. There it goes. Did you break it? Nope. So it's a regular terminal. They drill through the center of it and screw it down. That is pretty weird. I'm gonna go take a grinder, grind the head of that one off and see if we can wiggle that one up out of the way. And try to keep whatever I can. And if that's the original style, try to keep staying with it. I don't think there's any battery acid that's gonna blow up because I think it's all gone. Let's get that nasty mess out of there. This whole place smells like, you can smell like the dried up acid. Yeah. More cred. Yeah, definitely gonna need a bath of baking soda to get rid of all that. So I'm gonna continue trying to clean all this up, see what we got for corrosion going like right through stuff, and see what is and is not damaged. If that coil's any good. That's any good. What is that? It's like a drive for a speedometer, maybe. And we get rid of all the nastiness. I'll bring you back. Well, I could say it's better. At some point, we'll probably hit it and you know, hit it with steam cleaner. Let's get some of the stuff out of it. You know, we'll hit it with like an air hose. I think we had these kind of components out before. It's like little doodads amongst the mouth shit. It's like it's got some like felt on the inside of it, keeps stuff banging around. Did I make the joke already? If you have a toolkit in your engine compartment, that your reliability is maybe a little questionable. Definitely makes it handy. I think we might have cracked this open. I'm not sure. I don't know if we did or not. There might have been one behind the seat that we saw. Yeah. That. And well, I guess tire jack and or if you want to crank it over. I think it has the thing. Does it have the thing that goes through the front of it? Yeah, to hand start it or hand crank it. Alright, I'm gonna go hit that real quick with a vacuum, get some of that crap out of there. And I say, let's get the air cleaner off and let's get the valve cover off and see how the internals of the engine look or assessment. Alright, so we give her a little blow job. Unfortunately, I just got a wing nut on it. I don't know if that's gonna be a paper filter. I don't know. I would kind of doubt the oil bath. It seems like it has enough room. We're gonna find out. Well, that's oil. Looks pretty clean too. I don't know if, what holds that on? Think we can sneak the valve cover out from around it? Let me go see if there's like a wing nut or something that's holding it. Yeah, there's a clamp with a screw on the side of it. Let me loosen that up, get the whole air cleaner right out of our way. We'll shove. Looks pretty clean though. I'm happy for that. No mice or nothing in it. You don't like oil. Yeah, looks really clean. I don't see much crap in the oil, you know. Doesn't run very much to get any dirt. There's not even really any dirt. A little bit, but not much settled into the little vein there. I was trying like thinking in my head when the last time this was run, like where was I at the time? And I was in 9th grade. Ninth grade was a long time ago. In 79. And this will probably, because I think we said it had 15,000 miles on it, but he was saying that sometimes what they do when they restore it, they reset it back to 0. I don't know if that's a quite legal thing to do, but that'll come off for us. You ready? Do we have crap or do we have good? Let's see if the gasket is sticking. I think so. Yeah. Definitely inside the valve cover is clean. Top of the engine's got a little bit of like cruddiness, but nothing terrible. Looks like something that would have 15,000 miles. Getting the valve cover is aftermarket, so that may have been put on, you know, right after the restoration, but maybe the engine is just all pretty stock and normal. Here's what I'm talking about. You can kind of still see there's some mud on it and a little bit down below. Nothing terrible, but neat. Let's look into the cooling system and we'll see if you know what's in there. My guess is that we already had this off. That would have been all the normal stuff that you look at when you're trying to buy something, right? I do not see anything. Doesn't look terrible neither. You know, it's got a little bit of a corrosion, but I don't see all the fins all blocked up. Good. We'll deal with put water in that later to see what we got. But let's continue to move on. Let's go get the plugs out of it. And we'll shoot some oil down the cylinders. And we'll see what... I don't know if we have that... We have the bar to be able to turn it by hand, because I don't know. My guess is all the starter stuff had all that corrosion all over it. I have a feeling we have a bunch of, like, you know, wiring issues. Where was it? Yeah. Comes up to a, looks like a mechanical switch here, and it makes power going across them. Has the starter had any other? Not just one big wire going to it. Might be able to put a jumper pack to it. Getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get the plugs out. Let's go check the plugs. You're just sitting. That one's just sitting in there. So maybe, hopefully, maybe somebody put some oil down in it. Hopefully you didn't have an issue that they put oil down in it, you know. But we are going to add some to it too. I don't see anything standing out. You look pretty decent, pretty average. Yeah, we got automatic transmission fluid. Let's go give a bunch of them in each one. It's nice too because the the piston is straight up and down, so the oil gets to go like all the way around the cylinder. Get in there. Now we got to try to figure out how to turn it. Let's just grab the fan for now. See if it'll go. Yeah. Watch all our valves to make sure none of them stick down. So far so good. I don't see any hanging up. Let's find where the dipstick is. Check our oil level. And I don't know, do you want to try let's go up. We gotta get that cap off. Make sure everything's turning. Last thing I just don't want to break something, you know, because we're getting hasty. Those wires still, sure, want to maintain their their bend. Make sure that rotor's turning. I'm looking right here. Yeah. Let's points are opening. Good. Let's check the oil level on it, and then maybe we'll probably put a jumper pack on that starter, and we'll see if it wants to spin a little bit, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on it, and we'll see if we got like an oil flow coming up here. But let's go figure out where the right there. Is even anything in it? Has a sludge mark on top. Let's go wipe that off and see if it's decent. What's that? Does it got a layer of scum sitting on top of it? What that is. Yeah, the back of that coil looks pretty bad too. That's where all that corrosion was sitting. No, it's up to full. Actually, it's full plus 3/4 of an inch. I wonder if gas kind of washed down. All right. I don't think we're gonna hurt anything. Let's go grab a jumper pack and see if anything happens. Well, one thing that's definitely going to be weird is taking the negative and attaching it to the hot side of that post. And if you touch the ground somewhere on the body, it should go. Let's I don't want to arc to nothing and damage it, Joe. Let's how about engine bolt? Clear the fan. What's your thoughts? Is there anything that happened? Starter kind of momentarily spins. That's weird. It's like I'm not doing anything. I would think it like maybe it'll clean its brushes. It's probably got like flat spots on the brushes. Yeah, that's dead. Yeah, maybe we'll have to pull that starter out and yeah, it's drawn now, but it's not spinning. You gonna fix yourself? No. We tried. I kind of expected that though. Let's go just give a quick look. Make sure I'm not missing anything. That way we're supposed to engage anything. Like there's no like mechanical lever possibly anything that gets done to create the rest of the circuit, let's grab a light. Because a lot of times it's like a Bendix that comes out and there'll be like another wire that goes down to it. It smells like a train set when you were a kid, the little ozone that comes off. Let's it's only 2 bolts and that right there. I can crack open that new socket set that I got for this hardware. And let's get that starter out. We'll get her up on a bench and we could probably bench test it and see if we can get it to go. I'm sure a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of oil probably wouldn't hurt things. Plus we could take a peek at that flywheel, see if there's any issues going on with that. New tools. Yeah, like as you go grab, like that's 1/4 inch. Let's here's 3/8. Let me find you a 1/2 inch. All right, that's a 1/2 inch socket. I'll show you what a regular one looks like comparative. And we should have a ratchet set. Oh yeah, one more time. A wrench set over here. I'll grab you a 1/2 inch wrench. Yeah, so that's a 1/2 inch wrench, and that's a 1/2 inch wrench. A slight bit of a difference in them. All right, see what we can do to, and everything else in the back. It's just the same, go 1/2 inch drive. So let's go see what we do to get that starter out and bring it up on the bench. Take a look at it. I got the 2 bolts out. Let's go get, that's a bracket for the throttle. Let's see if it'll, there we go. It's gonna come out through the top. Super little length of that Bendix on that thing. Holy. I'm gonna try to get 2 hands on that, see if we can wiggle that out. Might be able to come out up through here. Snug fit, but I think we got it. There we go. Awesome. Let's go over on the bench and get an idea what we got. But before we do anything, let's just give it another try and see what happens. All right, so the hot lead goes to ground. Actually, let's do it this way. That way we're not arcing out on the post. We'll do the post first, and we'll arc to here. Of course it works. Now it's doing the same thing. Very good. Does it need to return? Like what? It's weird that it starts again on its own. You would think like if it had a flat spot, it would just kind of stay there, you know? Could even been what it failed for, you know? I don't want to put my palm on the end of that. I wonder if there's brushes like are spring loaded this way and I'm pushing it against it and it goes for a second. Let's try pulling it. It's already out. All right, let's get the, maybe we want to get that fancy cover. It definitely smells like a train set. Let's get this cover off of it and we'll see if we have like access to these brushes. Looks like these 2 probably go right through the body of it and hold the whole thing together. I just don't want to screw it up. Like sometimes you take them apart, they get kind of, the way the brushes are set up, you can kind of trash them. It also could have been what it was parked for. I'm gonna get these 2 screws out and we'll get the cover off. We'll see what it looks like. Possibly sometimes there's like a little access hole for the brushes. I got it loosened up. Might be able to just slide it right off the end. There we go. Oh, you can see the brushes. Awesome. Yeah. Definitely has some crud in there. So the brushes should be spring loaded against the armature that's in there. Let's take a look at the other ones too, see if we have any that are That one's getting a little low in the hole. That one looks decent. I'm looking at, there's crap falling out of it though. Is that brush material? What is that? Is it just dirt? Maybe just dirt. Let's blow that out of there. And I gotta get something to point with. Alright, so this thing right here, these are the springs that hold tension on the brush. And we should go get behind it. Probably should mount the thing in the vise a little better. So that's the spring, and then this brush underneath it should have like movement to it, and a lot of times they get stuck in their sleeve. See if you can lift up on that and get a little, you can pull up on it. Yeah, there it goes. Let's work on that one a couple of times. What's that a chunk of? Whatever it is that fell in. So let's I'm gonna run around. It's probably, and what happens too, like once the brushes get so low, yes, yeah, that one's moving now. Once they get so low though, they no longer, the spring can no longer put tension on it. And it was, I know that we had one that was sitting, that one right there. That one's definitely sitting kind of deep in the cavity. Let's see what we get on that. That one's got like a double set of wires on it. That one moves. But like at some point, this spring is going to touch this body here, and it's not even going to be able to put tension on it. But let's give her a couple of... I was hoping that when we spun it, you know, sometimes they'll clean themselves up. Sometimes you get to take a pencil eraser too and go through them and clean up the armature. Grab the spring, take the tension off of it. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, it moves. Again, I don't want to beat them up too much though, because they're kind of brittle. What a brush is made out of? Carbide? Is that what it is? This one's buried, you can't even see it. Now we can get into that one. Let me readjust. Let me clamp it down. Yeah, so two of them look like they're okay, and two look like they're down there pretty far. And they're all moving. Let's try putting power to it. Let's see if that was enough to make any kind of difference on it. That's why you see some people like hitting a starter with a hammer. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get it so that it he's kind of shaking those brushes around a little bit. All right, ground to the hot. Huh? Yeah, I know. And then let's there you go. Let's go spin it for a second. Like Mach 5. Good though. I don't know if we should put any oil on any of this. What do you think? Should I leave it alone maybe? Because the problem with oil is sometimes it attracts dirt. It makes it worse. Let's go take a look at the flywheel on there. See if there's how the teeth are. See if we can get you down in there. You guys got a better view than I do. Light on it. It looked decent. I don't see anything on that. That leading edge is where it would show the edge closest to us. If they're all kind of ground off. I'm going to take a minute. Let me go clean up some of that, more of that battery crap that's in there. We'll throw that starter back in and try it again. I left the cover off of it just in case you want to get in there and have to go tweak it a little bit. But let's what we ground it on before? Something. One of the big bolts. Let's try going for right there. Alright. Let's see what she does. Sounds good. No clacking. I'd like to see if we get some oil coming up. There it goes. Let it go another minute. There's no, not going to hurt the starter. There's no load on it, so. Awesome. All right, we'll give it a break. Good. We got oil flow. That's decent. Let's probably set that valve cover back on there because it's gonna do that. All right, let me pop that valve cover and just set it on top of it. Just keep the oil in it. That's not coming out of somewhere else, is it? I didn't think it would be spraying like that. Maybe. Is there an oil line? Is that an oil line? Like to a gauge? Let's go check. We gotta eyeball it again too, but it seems weird that oh, you know what it is? It's just oil that we put in the it's the oil that we put in the plugs. Shoot now. Why do you say something? Alright. I will say we didn't put that much oil in the cylinders. So we're pissing out of something somewhere. Let's go see on that side what it might be. I don't know if it's coming down. It's like around the distributor area. What is it? I wonder if this is a an oil line. And it looks like an oil line that is done past its prime. Can we crank it? Let's crank it and see if it's pissing out of there. It kind of looks like it. It's either that or it's coming out of like the base of the rocker cover. I think let's get set up so we can spin it. We should just be able to hit the ground side of things. Let's see what we're getting. Yeah, it's coming right out of there. There's your problem. Can we do something to plug that? That line's already no good, right? Can we squeeze that off maybe with a pair of vice grips? It's already shit, right? We're not going to hurt it. And again, I think it's just going up to a gauge. So through under there. And we have an oil. Watch, there's like a pile of oil inside here too. Okay, 18,000 miles on it. Water, amps, miles per hour, tack. Is there even an oil gauge in here? And where would it go to then? Yeah, what's that? That's oil right there. That one. Okay. Yeah, let's go see if we can plug that off. Or at least clamp it off. Yeah, let's get a little tighter. Yeah, we're not hurting nothing. We're just disconnecting the gauge. We already know we got oil going up to the rocker, so that's good. Doesn't feel like there's much of any kind of anything rubber even inside there. Let's go see if that did it. I have a feeling it's gonna piss right out of here though. Let's go crank it again. Well, it definitely slowed it down enough not to be an issue. Good enough. All right, I'm gonna check the oil level. I don't think we lost that much. We were over anyway. And let's go see about, we'll clean those points up. We'll definitely get rid of that oil that we got on there. Clean those points up. And we need to, that's the signal going to the coil. And then we got to find what side's the hot side. So this is the signal side. We need to put ground, which is the hot, I know it sounds weird, to that, and we'll see if we get any spark going on. All right, let's try it without even cleaning the point. So this, if we arc to the body, it should make spark. Should. Why are we not? Oh, because we don't have anything hooked up on the other end. That's why. We have no ground. Let's So this is the point side of it. Going to the points, which is, and that should be the hot side of it. Let's get that rotor out of the way. Kill the light. We'll try cranking it. We'll see if we see any spark at the points. Oh yeah, I did for a second. I'm gonna try cleaning them up a little bit, and we'll put some stuff together, and we'll see if we get any spark coming out of any of the wires. I think the only problem we're gonna run into is, like, normally, like, you have a starter solenoid and you have like a little wire you could disconnect from the starter to make the starter stop spinning. Our problem with this right now is that we have to, when it gets running, we have to disconnect the big lead off of the starter because there's no really solenoid. It's just that big circuit. Let's get them to open up. We'll spray them out. So we have to figure out, like, I guess what I'm saying, normally you can kind of put like a starter button across it and crank it, but you're not gonna be able to do that with this. There you go. All right, I'm gonna put that back together and we'll crank it over, and I'll put the cap on it, and we'll put a plug in one of the wires and see if we get spark. We're gonna look right there, and hopefully, where is it? There we are. Good. Let's throw those plugs in there, and possibly we can drip a little bit of fuel down the intake. I don't know if you want to shoot them in the plug holes, or you want to go down the intake. I think that setup should work for us. It's all downhill, not like we're trying to suck fuel upwards. Yeah, let me go throw all those plugs in and figure out what the firing order is. All right, so if it goes, it's only going to go as long as I have the wire on there. So as soon as I stop cranking the starter, it's going to lose spark. But let's just go see if it does that amount of it. Let's go give her a... Hope that's gas. Give me a car. Fire one. I wonder if we should give it some choke or something to let it open up a little bit. I don't know what it's even got for a choke. Everything, all the buttons look like they're in. Let's give it like a screwdriver. Let's go shove underneath the throttle. Open the throttle just a hair. Give it some air. Try to figure out where the linkage, where that is. Sure, our wire didn't fall off too, and that's still good. So that's probably choke. And there's the throttle. Which way gives us some. There we go. So let's go jam something right underneath there. Give us a little bit of air coming in. It's got a roach clip on it holding it up, probably about maybe 1/8 of an inch. Try it again. I'm just going to the terminal too. Cam. I think he gave a kick. Oh, it's going right through it. Come on. It wants to. Alright, give it a rest. Let's go check and make sure we're not pissing any more oil out. I think we're okay down there. I wonder if we didn't want to start if you kind of want to go with gas, but let's give it something that's got a little bit of a fog to it. We have a totally empty can of starter fluid. Let's go try that. Let's give it like a little whiff. We're just trying to make sure we get. It should have went on that. So one more time. Done. Yeah, it's done. Let's go pull the plugs out. See if they're oil fouled. I think I only have them in there hand tight. Come on, try a different one. I do believe I have the firing order right. I may need to clean these. Again, the oil that I put on them. Starter sounds good, huh? Everything sounds even compression. Yeah, I think they're oil fouled. I'm gonna take them out and then clean them up, and we'll try it one more time. Well, eventually that jumper pack's gonna die on us. So we've got clean plugs. Let's go do it, and it's not putting any gas in it yet. See what it does. She'll go. Awesome. Let's try to figure out some way to set it up so that when I take power away, we're not killing power to the coil. Probably like we'll get a maybe a jumper cable, and we'll be able to interrupt the part of the starter. All right, so here's what we got. Jumper cables. This is the jumper pack. It has power going to the coil, and the other side's already connected to the terminal. Now, if we jump this to wherever the black lead, the other, here it is. We jump these two together, it should make the starter go, and when we disconnect them, it should maintain power to the coil. Maybe. And that battery's about gone. We'll give her a good juicing. Yeah, I think we're about done on pack. I'm gonna go grab another one and get a faster spin. I think we're real close. I think. All right, take 37. You need to hook these two together and it should crank. Should. Should probably take a wire wheel and clean that. Let's try. Let's grab the mushy part of it. Ooh. Let's see if carb clean is flammable. Does it say flammable? Just like if it doesn't. I think so. Air. This pack has been sitting in the truck for a couple of months too. It's down at 12.2 volts. So we'll give it one more. Maybe let everything charge overnight, and we'll get some new plugs for the morning. Try it again. But we'll screw it just a little bit more. Come on. I need one person to spray while I'm trying to do it. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between gas and carb cleaner. I don't want to kill the starter. I know I'm hyper and I want to get it running, but I don't want to do any damage. So let's go take a break, let everything cool off. We'll grab it the next day, charge all the jumper packs up, and you know, we have a ton of work to do this. I don't know if you even want to try, maybe we could take the fuel line off and we could feed fuel to the bowls and try doing it. But we should be able to get it run for like, you know, 10 seconds or so just by kind of, you know, feeding it fuel. The problem is I don't have a starter button. I need one more hand. All right, I think I might have figured out a way. That jumper pack is powering the coil only, and this jumper pack, when I turn the switch up there, should make it crank. Let's see if that kind of works. Yeah. So now I can work that, have a hand free, and spray the carb. There you go. Come on. There you go. I'm out of bullets. Let's go disconnect that one. We reset up on fuel. We're going to turn the idle up a little faster too. I think we were able to get it to feed off the bottle. Starter's not even hot, remarkably. It must be used to crank. It makes starters to crank a lot. We need to hook spark to the coil, which is that one, and baby feed it. It is spitting some stuff out the exhaust. I heard rust and nails and everything else. That's probably why it doesn't want to run either. Oh my God, look at the nest it blew out. All the way across the garage. If you can see it. It goes all the way back there. Well, that's why I didn't want to run. I couldn't breathe on the other side of it. Figures. Let's go set the camera up here. I'm going to go fire it up and see if it you know, shoots out a mouse on fire or something. Indigestion. Yeah, definitely had a little bit of indigestion. Anybody come flying out on fire? All right, guys, I think we're going to kind of wrap it up right here. It's good enough. At least we got kind of ourselves an education as far as what we got. It seems like the drive, you know, the engine part of it seems like it's good. We have a ton to do. We got to do the carbs. You got to see if it holds coolant, shifting, brakes. It doesn't look like he's bleeding anything else out from that, other than that first time from the hose that went out. And we definitely got to make a shopping list of all the stuff that we need. So, you're going to follow up next video on this one, or if I'm waiting on parts, it may skip a week. I do have something else that I picked up at a yard sale that we're going to get into. But cool. All right, it does live for what, 45 years being parked. It decides that it still wants to go play, and it seems like everything's actually in fairly good condition. I'm glad that starter came back too. That would suck trying to crank that by hand, huh? All right, guys, with that, I'm going to sign off, and we'll get together soon on this one. And I think it'll be something, I like it because it's different. It's not something I've ever worked on before. So it's, for me, it's got the excitement of the difference of it. All right, I'm rambling. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. I definitely say the muffler was pretty full.